In this worksheet entitled Exact Match, we'd like to use column F here to convert the scores we see in column E, the ratings, into a numerical score. There's a table over in columns A and B. Excellent is 99, very good 92, and so on. This fair rating that we see here in E2 should be a 71. And the VLOOKUP function that's already in place isn't working, and there's a reason, but it should give us an answer of 71. It currently is giving us the answer 99. What's different here? Unlike examples with numbers, if you're looking up text information, or if they're numbers of an ID type, for example, Social Security numbers, employee numbers, lookup can't be an approximate. We can't say, oh, that Social Security number is close enough. And we can't say that here either. We're not trying to find how close the word fair is to something else. We need to find it exactly. So when a VLOOKUP function or an HLOOKUP function is using an exact match scenario, as we're looking at here, we need a fourth argument. As it now stands, this VLOOKUP is accurate in every respect, except it lacks that fourth argument. We're trying to look up the word fair in this table located in cells A2 to B8. We want to get the answers out of the second column, comma, and the pop-up, as soon as I clicked comma, you saw it. True means approximate match. We don't want that here. We want the word false. You can either type the word false or put in the number 0. It doesn't tell you that on the screen. And to me, the word false somehow suggests that maybe something isn't working or failed. So it's a little bit strange as to why we use these words, but false certainly will work here, and we will get the correct answer. Having used this many, many times, I just use 0. It also has a nice correspondence with another function we will see called match, and it certainly is less typing. There we go. And before copying this, since we don't have a range name, we need to make this an absolute address. We'll simply press F4 here and Control-Enter, and then simply double-click or drag to make this work properly. So in every case here, we are seeing the correct answers. Anytime you need to make the match be exact, what that means is, unlike in an approximate match, if you have an entry here, suppose this entry said so-so. Well, that's a nice thing to say possibly, but that doesn't fit in. It's not anywhere in the table. And what else can Excel do here in this function but give us an NA? Not applicable. Because we've got this 0 out here, remember it could be false or 0, either way, this means an exact match. We didn't find this in the list. Imagine a situation where maybe you have thousands of these. If there's a trailing space here, look what happens. So a quick workaround on these, if you did have trailing spaces, is to use another function, one of the text functions. We want to look at the trimmed version of this, the one that takes off spaces. So we can use a function called trim here and use it in a creative way here. This is going to give us the trim version. And that does work. And of course, ideally, we would copy that downward and also upward to cover other potential uses of it. It would also tackle leading spaces right here, for example. Put in a leading space. Because we've got trim in place here, it, in a sense, you could say corrects this entry. It doesn't really correct the entry, but it does use a corrected version of it in here to find the answer. So sometimes you have to deal with that as well. But the main focus here is this idea that when you're trying to look up information and it must be exact, you need to have a fourth argument in a VLOOKUP. And if you are using HLOOKUP, the same rules apply. In that scenario, of course, you're looking up data in a row across the top row. But there too, the 0 or the word false means an exact match. Not exactly intuitive, in fact, not even close, but that's what has to be done when you're using VLOOKUP to find an exact match.